views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hi, how are you? I'm the Doc Bob Lee, and welcome to Open BXRX. Got a lot in store for you. Coming up on today's show, we'll hear from a representative celebrating a major milestone virtually. Then we'll learn about a new initiative, how it's creating relief for small businesses in our communities. And plus, we'll speak to a representative whose organization has had major impact in our Black community. And then Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports, and he really rocks it. And then we'll speak to two representatives of an initiative to learn about how they are addressing food insecurities in their community. Stay tuned. All this and more is headed your way. We are definitely open. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open. It's a live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media. Leading things off, our first guest is the Executive Director of the Dominican Women's Development Center, and she joins us to speak about what services her organization has to offer and to promote their 32nd annual anniversary. Please welcome to the show, Rosita Romero. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Good, good. Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much, Bob and Steve, for inviting us to this program. We are very excited because the mission of the Dominican Women's Development Center is to promote gender equality and social justice. And that is something that is so necessary in our society nowadays with all the social unrest that we have been having. Some of the programs that we provide to support the women to advance obtaining their goals are the English as a second language classes. We have a fabulous daycare center where we provide bilingual services and culturally relevant meals and learning and everything. We try to prepare our children to succeed in school. And this is so important for women also to be able to receive training, to go to work, and in a way that they can be at peace and concentrate on their careers, knowing that their children are in a safe place. We also have a fantastic program, one of two in Washington Heights, against domestic violence. As you know, that is also a big problem that affects the female gender more than any other.
Yeah.
And in this anti-domestic violence program, we provide counseling, support groups. The women are able to get advocacy, and we have a hotline for emergencies. We also have other programs that have to do with health promotion, with promoting healthy parenting, and we have an early Head Start program. Those are some of the programs that we have.
And you've been doing it. You've been doing it for 32 years. You got the big celebration coming up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I am one of the co-founders. It was a group of 9 women that founded this organization 32 years ago. And on October 15th, we are having a virtual gala because nowadays with the COVID-19 pandemic, you know, everything has to be virtual. And we want to protect people. We want people to socially gather, but they can still contribute to the organization. They can still see what we have been doing. And we have been doing a lot in response to the pandemic. And we're going to celebrate on October 15th and try to raise some needed funds for the organization.
Yeah. Now, although you've been doing it for 32 years, you've never encountered anything like COVID-19. How has the pandemic shifted or changed the way you do business or the way you serve the community in your area?
Well, our board of directors and our management team made a very timely decision to stop providing in-person services in the middle of March. We started providing services remotely beginning on March 16th, and we have remained until now recently, now in September. We're trying to provide some of the services, but um, we really responded to the needs of the community. We protected the staff. We continue to provide services. We were able to meet some of the rising needs. For instance, we one of the major needs that that rose up during the pandemic was the need for food. And our organization has been providing food to about 400 families per month, once a month in some occasions and once a week in other occasions. We even got to the point, Bob, where when the pandemic was at the highest, we didn't want people to leave their homes. And we organized volunteers who would take the food to people's apartment. We would drop it off at the door, and people wouldn't have to leave their room. People didn't have to leave their apartment. We also started to filling out unemployment applications, health insurance applications, SNAP applications. We provided rent subsidies because many of our families are undocumented, they lost their job, they couldn't pay the rent. And we were able to provide subsidies of $1,000 for some of our families. And in the meantime, we continue to provide all the other regular services that we provide on a regular basis. Like we did remote learning for our children, and we managed to stay alive, relevant, solvent, and it's been a very difficult journey. We had to deal with staff getting sick, with staff and clients losing members of their families, and you know.
But now you know how to do it now. It's been out for a while, but it's still dangerous. We still have to wash our hands, and we still have to wear the mask, and we still have to, apply that social distancing thing. We have to stay apart so that we can come together later on. Now, tell us about the go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, we did a lot of education to the community. We gave out written information. We called on the phone to our clients. And when we reopened, we implemented all the measures to make sure that the staff and the clients are safe. When it comes to promoting washing the hands, having hand sanitizers, having hand-free information and everything.
That's excellent. Now, this virtual gathering is going to be really, really nice. I heard you talking about it off mic a little bit, but tell us what it's going to look like briefly. We have about a minute left.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We are going to have 3 honorees, Somos Community Care, who did a wonderful job responding to the pandemic. They had thousands of doctors out there doing testing and providing services to our communities. We are also honoring Lucien Echevarria from the Dominican Ministry of Tourism, which is one of the industries that was hardest hit in the Dominican Republic. So now we are very happy to honor Lucien Echevarria to support and to highlight the idea that Dominican Republic is open for tourism again. And we're also honoring Gerlin Castillo from Banco Popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, who helped the WDC get those PPP loan, which was so helpful for our organization. And
That's
we're
great.
gonna have messages from our board. We're gonna have a performance or a message from Amara La Negra. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there you go. Where can we go to get more information?
Our website, dwdc.org.
Yes.
In our website, you can register, you can give donations, buy sponsorships, purchase ads, register for the silent auction. Everything has to be done at dwdc.org, and you will be able to join us on Thursday, October 15th at
There you
7
go.
p.m.
Now say it in Spanish how much you love everybody and how much you want them to participate in the Dominican Women's Development Center.
Sí, estamos encantadas de saludarlas. Estamos celebrando el 32 aniversario del Centro de Desarrollo de la Mujer Dominicana y queremos que todos ustedes se unan a nosotras, apoyando a una gran cantidad, apoyando a unos líderes en nuestra comunidad que merecen ser reconocidos. La gala virtual va a ser el jueves 15 de octubre a las 7 de la noche. Para inscribirse, vayan a nuestra página cibernética www.dc.org. Nos vamos a divertir, ustedes nos van a apoyar y van a poder ver el trabajo maravilloso
Trabajo,
que hemos continuado haciendo.
Gracias, gracias. Rosita
Sí.
Romero, Executive Director, Dominican Women's Development Center. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gracias.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to be interviewed by you, and thank you to BronxNet for helping us promote our gala.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, well, Rosita, we're going to take a break right here, but we got more. Welcome back, everybody, of the Doc Bob Lee. And our next guests are the Small Business Resource Network Specialist of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. And they're here to tell us about an exciting resource that may help small businesses, and they need our help. In the wake of COVID-19, please welcome to the show, Ana Reyes and Francisco Aguilar. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? How are you? First time on TV?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Don't worry about a thing. We got you. It's like a Zoom.
Right.
We're Zooming together, you and I. All right. Talk about why this is such an important fund for small businesses at this time.
We feel that it's extremely important for all small businesses throughout New York City, but especially in the Bronx. We feel that our businesses could be left without like grants that the government are giving out, for instance, like, for that. So they may be left without information, and we are just another way that Bronx businesses can get their funding that they need, anything that they need, from mental health help to PPE to grants or just opportunities that they had no idea that they had access to. So that's what we are. We're a stepping stone to those resources.
Yeah. Anna, you know, the Chamber's been doing a lot of things for a lot of businesses and organizations for a long time. How has COVID-19 changed the way you guys are addressing this?
So right now, the Bronx Chamber is really heavy on advocacy. We're doing a lot of more legislative work, and we're teaching and sharing all the knowledge that is coming to us, to our members here who are greatly impacted by a lot of the stuff that's going on around COVID-19. And so, you know, it's like as we get the information, they get them as well.
Yeah. So how did you guys come up with this initiative? Where did it come from? Who was the brainchild, or what group of you guys were the brainchild?
I got you. So basically, this program was funded through the Peterson Foundation with partnership through all the local Chamber of Commerces through each borough. So basically, each borough is assigned a few recovery specialists. For me and Anna, that's just us for the Bronx, and every other borough has their own. So basically, the Peterson Foundation has helped set up all of our positions to help New York City.
Well, the people who are, is it most of the small businesses in the area? Do they have to make a certain amount, or they have to be in trouble, or who qualifies for these resources, and who are these businesses?
It's a small business that qualify. You know, they just have to like, there's an intake form that you can do online, or we can just go to your to you personally and fill out any business needs that you need when it comes to marketing or loans or any other business strategy. As long as you need that need, we can help you connect you to those resources. So it's anybody in the New York City area.
And it's completely free, and there's no reason not to fill it out if you think you could use any kind of assistance. Like I said, it goes from marketing, real estate, even just like assistance, getting you to someone to talk to is what we're here for.
Good. And how does that help? I mean, businesses, small businesses have, you know, people that they hire. Does it help keep them on the job, or does it help keep the operation open, or how's the money used or utilized?
So basically, I really understand. I'm going to try and formulate what we're doing. Maybe I'll get a better
Okay.
picture. So basically, we say, for example, I've been working with a small daycare center, and she wants assistance with payment from training her staff. So then I can connect her with someone who would be able to train her staff, like with help with assistance paying their staff. You know what I mean? But like that's just one example. So basically, there's no money for them that is needed for them to be part of the resource network. It's just it's just the idea of them being able to connect with someone who can further assist them in any of their needs.
All right, and that translates probably into money, you know, helps them save or helps them with you know, overhead and things of that nature. But we love what you guys are doing. Is there anything coming up that we should latch on to or know more about?
Just be looking out for us through walkthroughs. We are trying to have community board meetings, appearing community board meetings, or any kind of local legislation meetings we're going to try and be a part of to get the word out even more. Because we feel like just having the word out is the first step, because it's kind of it's simple to be part of the program. So as long as they know how simple it is, then I feel like more people will be able to sign up.
And that's what you want. You want people to know what? How simple it is, and plus what?
Simple it is, how easy it is to actually access the resources, and quickness on our ability to deliver, I think, is another thing that is going to be really helpful to the success of the program, and maybe hasn't even been seen through, but they've never seen that kind of quickness before, in a sense, hopefully. Now,
Anna, people are watching this and they want to know where to go. Wow, how can I get more information on this? I I see these two wonderful people talking about all these great things. Well, I can't wait. I got to get a book. I can't write all this stuff down. Where can they go to get more information while I'm going to write this down myself?
Okay, so definitely we're also sharing it through the Chamber's social media pages. So all our handles with the new BXC, and then Facebook is the new Bronx Chamber of Commerce. But also you can find the rest of the information through the website, which is the nycsmallbusinessresourcenetwork.org.
There you go.
It's our name in one whole thing. We figured that was the easiest way to get people to actually know our name, as well as be able to go to the website and fill out the intake form.
Got it.
Great.
There you go. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for all that wonderful information. And thank you for helping out small businesses.
Well, thank you for having us.
We appreciate you.
This will be great exposure for us.
Francisco Aguilar, Small Business Resource Network Specialist, and he's from the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, and Ana Reyes, Small Business Resource Network Specialist, also from the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. We have an attitude of gratitude. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, we'll take a break right here, but wait, there's more coming up next right here on Open.
A decade in the making, created in 1790 to allocate our U.S. population and economy, and every 10 years check-in determining our community residents and needs. Women Voices Lead Suffrage Centennial acknowledges another year of elections, while Women in the Heights artists celebrate their 10 years anniversary through Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance guidance to ensure Uptown is recorded through our census count is how we identify our community needs. Although we are living in a social distancing era, thanks to the worldwide internet, we now have the means to hear the popular voices. So don't be left out. Go to my2020census.gov and make sure to be counted.
Hi, I'm Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., and I'm making sure that the Bronx counts is my priority. That's why I'm urging everyone to fill out the 2020 census. The 2020 census is important because it would allow for the federal government to determine how much money and resources the Bronx is going to need for the next 10 years around healthcare, education, housing, roads, representation, and so many other things. Now let's all get together and make the Bronx count.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee. Our next guest is the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the MTA and the Chairman of the Corporate Board for 100 Black Men of New York. And he joins us to speak about the great work that he's doing with his organization and what he's doing in our community, too. He's always out there with his sleeves rolled up doing things. I just saw him about, we're out about 2-3 weeks ago, uptown in Harlem, feeding people and helping them get what they need out of life, and that's important. Please welcome to the show, Michael J. Garner. Welcome, 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 my brother.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Lee, and let me thank you for your leadership in being in the community and bringing the information and message to the people. Information, as you know, is powerful, and you've been out here for a long time, and you are an institution. I cannot associate BronxNet nor WBLS without Dr. Bob Lee.
Thank you, my brother. It's always a pleasure to see you too. Please tell our audience more about the 100 Black Men of New York.
Yeah, so as you know, we were created in 1963 by baseball great Jackie Robinson, Mayor David Dinkins, and other Black leaders of that day, because there was a unfortunate incident in the arrest of a Black female socialite who was arrested for making an illegal U-turn in Midtown Manhattan. And then the conversation escalated, and the highest ranking Black at NYPD in that day, Bob Magnum, went to the station house and he voided the arrest. He voided the arrest. And there was calls to his firing, and a group of Black leaders got together and indicated that we needed to organize a group called the 100 Men. And it was Mayor David Dinkins who said that we're going to call ourselves exactly who we are, 100 Black Men.
Right.
Since that time in 1963, we have migrated to 97 chapters across the globe in most every major city in this country, including London overseas. And we focus on lending a voice to people who cannot speak for themselves, and we fight for the rights of people who cannot fight for themselves. So, for example, we issue $100,000 in college scholarships every year to 20 Black and brown students. The money goes directly to the students or their family, because if they went to the university or college, if they were on any other type of aid, they would take the $5,000. So we give it directly to them. And so we feed 8,000 people every year between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because, you know, although we live in the Fortune 500 capital of the world, we still have extreme pockets of poverty. For example, the Bronx is the third poorest county in the country, not the state, but the country. That's the Bronx. And so we are in the Fortune 500 capital of the world, and we're doing what we should be doing in order to help those who are less fortunate than us. And most recently, we had two big deals. We signed a major deal with the National Football League, and they wanted us to identify Black male college students who are majoring in sports management or sports medicine and give them college scholarships, and partnering with us as a way of integrating the National Football League, the front offices, and their sponsors. Second, and most immediate, Hennessy reached out to us, and they wanted us to identify Black-owned businesses who are suffering through these pandemics of COVID-19, the current health pandemic, in addition to an economic pandemic, because the country is currently mired in a recession, but Black America is in a depression. And then we have international and national civil rights protests and civil rights unrest. So the Chairmen of Hennessy reached out and wanted us to identify small Black businesses for business grants. Fast forward, we identified 765 small Black businesses. We gave them business grants ranging from $1,500 to $15,000 in 84 different cities, states, and villages in 37 states. And so that round was so successful, guess what? We're going out with a second round as of October 26th. Round two, October 26th. So be ready.
There you go.
The MTA, the largest transportation network in North America, 70,000 employees, 5,000 square miles from Long Island all the way up to Newburgh, New York, Suffolk County up to Newburgh, New York. We have a $16 billion annual budget. We buy $6 billion of goods and services each year. Last year, which ended March 31st, we became the first agency in history to pay in excess of $1.1 billion to minority and women-owned firms. And why is that important, Dr. Bob Lee? It's important because access to contracts means job creation in the Black community. It means home ownership, better educational opportunities, and better healthcare options. $1.1 billion in 1 year. 38% of those dollars went to Black and Hispanic-owned businesses.
And you're no stranger to this type of work. Tell us some of the things that you've been doing before you came to MTA and started working with the 100 Black Men.
Yes. So prior to migrating over to the MTA, I am their first Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, and I was offered this position by former Governor David Patterson, who wanted me to come over to the MTA and shake some things up because the MTA was not doing an adequate job of awarding contracts to certified minority women-owned businesses. That was in 2009. So I came here the same year as our president, Obama, came into the office. So I like to say that was the year of transformation. And so prior to that, I was the Senior Director of Business Development at the New York City School Construction Authority for 14 years. And the SCA, as we call it, they are responsible for building and rehabbing all the schools in the city of New York. So during my time there, we had a $13.1 billion budget, building 106 new schools and rehabbing countless others. And it was there that we created these innovative, aggressive minority business programs that led to great results.
Yeah, we love everything that you're doing in the community. And we got to also let people know that you're the cousin to Eric Garner.
Yes.
Who was stricken in Staten Island.
So timing in life is everything. I became president of the 100 Black Men in 2014. 2 months later, Eric Garner was killed by that officer. So God was trying to say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a bigger platform in order for you to fight for the justices of people.
You see, but God
first. And so, he has empowered me. We have fought to get the officer fired. Eric Garner's mother, Gwen Carr, she's not only the nicest individual that I know, but she is the strongest individual that I know. Because she and the Reverend Al Sharpton and NAN, the National Action Network, we fought for 6 years to get justice and getting that officer fired and losing his pension. Yeah. And in the words of Bob Marley, you got to fight for your rights. So now, Gwen Carr has teamed with the state Senate, the state assembly, in getting the Eric Garner anti-choking bill passed in both houses, and Governor Andrew Cuomo just signed that bill into a law. So it is illegal for any law enforcement officer to put anybody in a chokehold.
And finally, quickly, I think we've got about a minute left. What do you think about the debates? Vice presidential debate.
I felt so proud to be a Black man last night because Senator Harris did a magnanimous job of stating how her and Joe Biden is going to lead this country out of this current mess that we are in right now. Our race relations in this country under this current president or so-called president has gone back 100 years. He's pitting one group against the other group. We need leadership that's going to bring this country back together so everybody has the right and the ability to live in this country and be part of the American dream and not fight each other. So bravo for the job that she did last night. Senator Harris, you did a fantastic job. And as a Black man in America, I feel so proud on this day.
Spoken well from the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the MTA and the Chairman of the Corporate Board for the 100 Black Men of New York, Michael J. Garner. Thank you so much, my brother. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Lee, and thank you for your dedication and leadership. Have a great day.
And we're ready for round two.
Yes, we are. Round two, October 26th.
There you go. All right. We'll take a break right here. I've got more right here on the Open coming up next.
taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
Hey there, sports fans. Before we get to part 2 of our interview with best-selling author and sports writer Jeff Pearlman, I'm feeling in a sporty kind of mood. I decided, in the tradition of sports, that we would test your knowledge on the subject of the NBA Finals, specifically NBA Finals Most Valuable Players. So to kickstart this segment, here are 3 questions on MVPs. How well do you know your NBA Finals MVPs? Let's find out. Question number 1. Since its inception, the award has been given out 31 times. Can you name the player that has received the most NBA Finals MVPs? We hit the timer. The answer? Michael Jordan and his record 6 NBA Finals MVPs. MJ won MVP of each of Chicago's 6 titles, 2 three-peats. Question number 2. Who is the only rookie to ever win NBA Finals MVP? You're back on the clock. Magic Johnson. He accomplished that feat in 1980. Here's our third and final question of our game. The first NBA Finals MVP actually took home the honor in a losing effort. Name the player and the NBA Finals that it happened in. The NBA logo, Jerry West. West averaged nearly 38 points per game in 1969. West is still the only player to win the award on a losing team. Thanks for playing. Here's more with Jeff Pearlman.
Even when I think back to 2004, one of the things that stands out for me is, if anything, as good as that Pistons starting 5 was, maybe the Lakers really actually were the reason why they lost that series. Not that the fact that the Pistons won it, but that the Lakers kind of just collapsed and basically it was the beginning of the end for Kobe and Shaq.
I actually think if you look back at that Pistons team, the team was really good. They weren't superstar laced, and they don't have any future Hall of Famers, but they were, Rip Hamilton was a great player. Tayshaun Prince was a great defensive player. Ben Wallace, great defensive player. Rasheed Wallace, great defensive player. They were locking teams down. They were holding teams at 72, 70, 68 points a game. And the Lakers came in and they were just disheveled and tired of each other. Kobe was flying back and forth to Eagle, Colorado for a sexual assault pretrial. They were just a mess. And by the end of that, they were just done with each other. Shaq didn't want to play with Kobe. Kobe didn't want to play with Shaq. Phil didn't want to coach Kobe. Karl Malone was hurt and 40 years old. Gary Payton was a bad fit at the Triangle. They were just a mess. So it looked like an upset at the time. It felt like an upset at the time. But I think the best team actually won handily.
Yeah, they were definitely very cohesive as a starting five. And as you mentioned, some really good players, even off the bench for that team.
Detroit was great. I'm telling you. And Larry Brown was he was at the top of his game. And that was his perfect kind of team where, he had coached the Sixers with Iverson to the 0-1 finals. But Iverson, that team was not very good. It was Iverson and a lot of like Eric Snows and George Lynch's and Matt Geiger's. That Detroit team was a perfect Larry Brown team. They were super long on defense. They played really hard. Chauncey Billups was a pass-first point guard who was a really smart player. Rasheed was great that year. They had guys like Corliss Williamson and Lawrence Funderburk. Corliss Williamson coming off the bench. They were just a bunch of badasses, to be honest. They really were. And the Lakers were soft at that point and kind of done with it.
What was your first reaction to the passing of Kobe Bryant? I mean, I know for me, sometimes even thinking about it now, still a sense of shock that he's gone.
Sad, real profound sadness. Same as you. I still, sometimes when I do these interviews, I accidentally slip into present tense. It sucks. My first reaction wasn't, his last game when he scored, or, it was this guy died with his daughter. This guy died in a helicopter crash with his daughter, who's 13 years old, same age my kid is. Like, that is devastating. That is still devastating. And his remaining 3 daughters are going to be haunted by that for the rest of their lives. His widow obviously is going to be haunted by that for the rest of their lives. I know he meant a lot to a lot of people as a basketball player and as an icon. But to me, like, this idea that he died on a helicopter crash with his daughter is so haunting and so tragic and so sad. That's really what I felt at the time and still sticks with me.
Certainly looks like the LA Lakers are doing everything that they can in the NBA Finals to try to pay tribute to the legend of Kobe Bryant by winning it all. LeBron James and company and Anthony Davis has really emerged as that great second star, maybe even the top player on the team. Wanted to get your thoughts, too, on the finals so far and whether or not the Lakers can actually do this for Kobe.
I mean, I think they're going to win the finals, but I think the number one thing is they're a better team than Miami, significantly. And I think that's important. I also think there's so much debate over the years about LeBron and, he's picking his teammates and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And, the guy's a freaking physical marvel. I don't think we've ever seen a guy like this. I really don't. He is a physical marvel. The amount of mileage that guy has on his body. He's supposed to have broken down 4 years ago, it is unbelievable how good he is and how dominant he is. And the funny thing is, Giannis won the MVP again this year. I just feel like we all know LeBron James is the most valuable player in the NBA. He's the most indispensable piece of player in the NBA. He's so good and so, man, I feel like even if you hate LeBron James, you have to admire that guy and how hard he brings it and how good of a leader he is. I think the Heat are really good. They're really scrappy, but it reminds me a little bit of when the Lakers played the Nets in the 2004 finals and in the 2002 finals. And it was like, 2002 finals. And it was like, they're just not on the same level. Like, these two teams are not on the same level. I think the Heat are the Nets of Keith Van Horn and Kerry Kittles, and the Lakers are the Lakers.
We have these ongoing debates about the GOAT status, if it's LeBron or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, who's the greatest of all time. I know in my lifetime, they're all GOATs, but, obviously as a Knicks fan, Jordan always would find a way to get us year in and year out, but definitely impressive to watch LeBron James right now.
So are you saying John Starks does not get your vote for GOAT?
Maybe if he had a better Game 7 in 1994, perhaps, but I do think, it's funny. I'm rooting for the Lakers to a large degree because of Kobe Bryant. But I actually thought that the way that the Heat were playing, that I thought they could, and they still could.
They have a lot of great stories. Like Jimmy Butler's a great story. His kind of redemption. Duncan Robinson's a great story. Hero's a great story. Like they're a really fun team, and they're a really impressively constructed team. It's like a lot of bits and pieces from different areas that you wouldn't suspect, and guys you didn't see coming. And I really like them. They're a really likable team. It's hard not to root for them. I just don't think they're going to win.
Definitely fair points. Jeff, before we let you go, wanted to see what other projects you might be working on. And I know that you're constantly writing on jeffpearlman.com. I know this book, just dropped at the end of September. Three Ring Circus. Go out and get it now.
Thank you. I'm working on I have a Bo Jackson book I'm working on next. That's my next book. So I started that, and there's no rest. You always go on to the next project. So I'm on to the next project. Yeah.
In terms of ranking those books so far, I mean, again, each one you've really tackled some big time subjects and some great individuals. Is there one book that stands out above the rest?
I think there are two that, for me, I would say one is a USFL book I wrote a couple of years ago called Football for a Buck. Mainly because I was told repeatedly nobody wanted the book, don't write the book, nobody cares, and it sold really well, and it had this redemptive quality. And then Walter Payton, I really lived that book. I lived that book called Sweetness. So I'd say those two. And then, they all have special places because they're all different time periods. My daughter was born with the Bad Guys one, and your kids come along as you write the book. So they all have none of them. The only one, Roger Clemens, that's my least favorite of the books I've written. If you can get it for a nickel on Amazon, maybe, or eBay, you've probably overpaid, but that's my least favorite. But the other ones, they all have special places to me.
Well, it's great stuff. Always great to read you, no matter whether it's, on your website or in these books. And congratulations on the newest title.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It looks bleak. It feels bleak. But the city isn't shut down because our public services keep working. In spite of, and in the face of, the dangers, we can count on them. And to keep them working and funded now and in the future, we need to be counted. Self-respond now to the 2020 census at my2020census.gov.
Thank you, Bobby C. Bobby C. rocks out sports. He does a great job with that. He has the latest all the time. Now, next guests are the co-organizers of the Mott Haven Community Fridge, and they join us to speak about the wonderful work that they're doing in our community to address food insecurities in our neighborhoods. Please welcome to the show, Daniel Sauterer and Charlotte Alvarez. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right. So tell us about what you're doing in the fridge department.
Charlotte, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So we are two teachers who work in a school in the South Bronx, the American Dream School. And so what we noticed during the pandemic is that a lot of our families had a big need for food. A lot of people lost their jobs, access to food, and loss of income. So Dan started this amazing GoFundMe that was able to bring some food to the community, but realized that that wasn't a long-term kind of situation. So we we noticed that community fridges were something that were popping up around New York City, particularly in Brooklyn. And we just thought that we really had a need in our community of the South Bronx. As a Bronxite myself, I've been living here my whole life. I know that poverty is an issue rampant in our community. And we were just looking for a way to contribute positively to the community. And a community fridge was just a great way to start.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, do you see, or did you notice before and after COVID that a lot of people were coming to school hungry?
Well, after COVID closed our school had to close our doors due to COVID, nobody was coming to the school building. And we knew that many of our families really relied heavily on the food that was provided to them in the school. So our students, almost all of them are on free or reduced price lunches. And they received breakfast and lunch in the school building. So now that—
Are you related to Michael Maxnabi?
I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, okay. He's our executive director, but he has the same gestures that you have, and you sound a little bit like him.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'm glad to be compared to your executive director. It sounds like a compliment to me, so I'll take it.
But thank you for the great work that you're doing in our community. You found that great need in our community.
Yeah, in fact, to give you
community fridge.
Yeah, to give you some context there, I actually did a phone text message survey with our 6th grade families. And I asked them, since COVID closed its doors, since the school closed its doors due to COVID-19, have you ever had to reduce the size of a meal or cut out a meal entirely because there wasn't enough money for food? 45% of our 6th grade families responded that they had to do that. And then we followed up with a frequency question, and 25% of our 6th grade families said that they were skipping meals or reducing the sizes of their meals 3 to 4 times a week because there wasn't enough money for food. So this need was pervasive, and we knew that we needed a solution that was in the community and that empowered community members and that got everybody involved. And we thought that the community fridge was the perfect venue through which to do that.
So when school comes back, of course you want to continue that because people are still hungry. You know,
absolutely.
School, they really depend on those school meals.
Absolutely.
I know. I used to do the TV breakfast with Mr. Strahan from the Giants. We used to go around to the different schools, and we did the breakfast and lunch programs there, and we did the commercials on TV also. So, but yeah, people needed it then, and they need it now. So you got to continue it.
Thank you. Yeah, we plan to.
Yeah. So what are the plans after COVID?
So I know that some people think that the community fridge is sort of just a temporary solution in the midst of the pandemic. And Charlotte and I view it differently. We feel that the community fridge not only is providing our families with fresh food in a time of extreme need like COVID, but this is a need that pre-existed the pandemic. This food security is something that's always been an issue. It's something that unfortunately will continue to be an issue for the indefinite future. And what this community fridge is allowing us to do is it's allowing us not only to provide our families and community members with food and access to food on a 24-hour basis, but it's also sort of helping to spark a wider conversation. We're contributing to the wider conversation about the pervasiveness of food insecurity in New York's forgotten borough of the Bronx. So we're trying to uplift and empower the Bronx, and that's something that needs to continue after the pandemic. So really, we would hope to grow after. I mean, your question is, what are we going to do after the pandemic? We hope to grow and become even stronger, and hopefully to open up and even more community fridges in the South Bronx, because it's definitely an area with extreme need. Charlotte, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
Charlie, that's the nickname, Charlie?
Sorry.
Charlie.
No, Charlie.
Charlie.
So,
answer that, Charlie.
Yeah, we're hoping to see it expand as a community hub in spending time by the fridge to collect the donations and to stock it. You realize that a lot of people come and they're so grateful for it. We've had not only food deliveries, but also deliveries of like hygiene products. And so now we have like a separate pantry for canned goods. And we're hoping to expand it as like a space where people can come and discuss their needs. It's connected us with a lot of other organizations doing amazing things in the Bronx. And we're hoping to create a collective with other Bronx organizations, because something that we've noticed is that there's a lot of great work that's happening in the Bronx, but it's kind of isolated. And so we want to build more connections.
This is National Principals Month, and we thank you guys for educating our youngsters. Thank you for the edification of young minds. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Before we go, I just have one other thing to say, which is that we really are in search of volunteers to help maintain the fridge, to help clean the fridge, to help donate food to the fridge. So if anybody's interested in volunteering for this effort, we would love for you to get in touch with us. The way to get in touch with us is on Instagram. Our handle is at Mott Haven Fridge, at Mott Haven Fridge, and we would love for you to send us a message and get in touch with us there. Or you can email us at info@motthavenfridge.com. We'd love to welcome volunteers to join the effort.
Charlie, do you also need money?
We'll take all it would take. We would certainly accept donations as well as volunteer. So yeah.
Wow, funny how time flies when you're having a whole lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking it out. I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to our co-organizers of the Mott Haven Community Fridge. They put it together and they're feeding a lot of people and educating people too. Daniel Zodera and Charlotte Alvarez, we appreciate you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show, and I want to thank our guests for joining us and you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. You can keep it right here at BronxNet TV for continued coverage, and we'll take good care of you. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice, and let the choice control the chooser. Happy National Principals Month. We appreciate our principals. Thank you for the edification of young minds. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. I'll catch you another day, another way. In fact, I'll see you for 107.5 WBLS. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. We love you.